The pregnant hookup girl. The village of Umiwaka was a place where tradition and modernity clashed like thunder in the dry season. Nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, it was a community bound by ancient customs and unspoken rules. But for Naoma, the rules had always felt like chains. Chains she had spent her life trying to break. Naoma was known throughout the village as a free spirit. She was beautiful, with a smile that could light up the darkest room, and a laugh that echoed like music. But beneath her charm lay a restless soul, one that craved excitement and danger. Even as a child, she had been rebellious, sneaking out at night to dance by the firelight, while other girls stayed home, learning to cook and clean. Her parents had tried to rein her in, but Naoma was untamable. At 22, Naoma married Chaik, a quiet and hard-working farmer who adored her. Chaik was everything a husband should be: kind, dependable, and devoted. But for Naoma, his predictability was a curse. She loved him, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was meant for more than a life of planting yams and raising children. When Naoma became pregnant, the entire village rejoiced. Chaik was over the moon, and for a while, Naoma was too. But as her belly grew, so did her restlessness. The thrill of motherhood faded, replaced by annoying emptiness that she couldn't ignore. She tried to distract herself with household chores and visits to friends, but it wasn't enough. She needed more. It started with a harmless flirtation, a smile here, a lingering touch there. Naoma told herself it was just a game, a way to pass the time. But soon, harmless flirtations turned into secret meetings. She began sneaking out at night, leaving Chaik asleep in their bed while she met men in the shadows of the forest. Each encounter was a rush, a temporary escape from the life she felt trapped in, but it was never enough. Chaik noticed the change in her. She was distant, distracted, and often gone for hours at a time. When he confronted her, she brushed him off, blaming her absences on visits to her mother or errands in the market. But deep down, Chaik knew something was wrong. He just didn't know how to fix it. One night, Naoma's secret caught up with her. She had arranged to meet a man named Emeka, a trader from a nearby village. Emeka was handsome and charming, with a reputation for being dangerous. Naoma knew she should stay away, but the danger only made him more irresistible. They met in a secluded clearing deep in the forest, the moonlight casting eerie shadows on the ground. Emeka was waiting for her, his eyes gleaming with a hunger that made Naoma's heart race. But as they embraced, something felt off. Emeka's touch was cold, his voice hollow. Before Naoma could pull away, he grabbed her wrists, his grip like iron. "You shouldn't have come," he whispered, his voice sending chills down her spine. Naoma's heart pounded as she struggled against his grip. "Let me go." She screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the darkness. Emeka's lips curled into a cruel smile. "You're exactly what I need," he said, his eyes glinting with malice. A pregnant woman, perfect for the ritual. Panic surged through Naoma as she realized the danger she was in. Emeka wasn't just a trader, he was a ritualist, a man who dealt in dark magic, and she had walked right into his trap. She fought with all her strength, but Emeka was too strong. He dragged her deeper into the forest, to a place where the trees grew close together, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. In the center of the clearing stood an altar, covered in strange symbols and surrounded by candles. Naoma's stomach churned as she realized what was about to happen. Emeka forced her onto the altar, his hands rough and unyielding. Naoma screamed, but no one could hear her. The forest was silent, as if it too was holding its breath. As Emeka began the ritual, chanting in a language Naoma didn't understand, she felt a strange sensation wash over her. It was as if her very soul was being pulled from her body. She tried to fight it, but the darkness was too strong. Her vision blurred, and the world around her faded into nothingness. When Naoma woke, she was alone. The clearing was empty, the altar gone. She sat up, her body aching and her mind foggy. For a moment, she thought it had all been a nightmare, but then she looked down at her belly. It was flat. Naoma's heart stopped. She scrambled to her feet, her hands trembling as she felt her stomach. The baby was gone. Emeka had taken it. Tears streamed down her face as she stumbled through the forest, her mind racing. She had to find Chaik, She had to tell him what had happened. But how could she explain? How could she tell him that she had been sneaking out to meet other men, that she had put their child in danger? When Naoma finally reached the village, it was dawn. The villagers were just beginning to stir, their voices carrying on the morning breeze. Naoma's heart pounded as she approached her hut, her legs shaking with every step. Chaik was outside, chopping wood. When he saw her, his face lit up with relief. "Naoma, where have you been? I've been worried sick." Naoma opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. How could she tell him the truth? How could she explain what she had done? Chaik's smile faded as he noticed her disheveled appearance and the tears streaming down her face. "Naoma, what's wrong? Where's the baby?" Naoma collapsed into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I'm so sorry." Chaik held her tightly, his heart breaking as he realized something terrible had happened. But he didn't press her for answers. He just held her, letting her cry. In the days that followed, Naoma told Chaik everything: her restlessness, her affairs, and the ritual that had taken their child. Chaik listened in silence, his face a mask of pain and disbelief. But when she finished, he didn't yell or accuse her. Instead, he took her hand and said, "We'll get through this together." Naoma's heart ached with guilt and shame, but also with gratitude. Chaik's love was unwavering, even in the face of her betrayal. And as they mourned the loss of their child, Naoma vowed to change. She would never again let her restlessness endanger the people she loved, but the scars of that night would never fully heal. And as Naoma lay in bed at night, her hand resting on her flat belly, she couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness was still out there, waiting for her, and one day, it would come back.